Welcome to Lamar CISD's Superintendent Search Town Hall meeting. This is our second meeting, and we appreciate everyone that has been able to come tonight. My name is Kay Danziger, and I represent District 2 on Lamar CISD Board of Trustees. And on behalf of the board, I do want to thank you for coming tonight and for taking time to participate in our meeting, whether you're here in person or with us virtually. I'm joined this evening by Mr. James Guerrera, and President of CEO of JG Consulting, and Mr. Alton Fraley, the Senior Search Consultant with JG Consulting. They are the search firm that our board hired to help us search for the next superintendent of Lamar CISD. As part of the superintendent search process, we're hosting 3 town hall meetings. We did one last week out in Greatwood at George Ranch High School, and we're doing another one tomorrow night. But we're using these to gather valuable input from our community to get traits and characteristics we wish to see in our next superintendent. The ideas and input that you give us we're going to, and of course our search of our survey online, we incorporate it into a superintendent leadership profile to help us find the right fit for Lamar CISD. You can come up and say hi too. For those of you participating virtually, please type your comments or questions in the chat box of the Zoom meeting. All comments will be relayed to JG Consulting to include in our leadership profile. There'll be one more town meeting tomorrow night at Terry High School at 6:30. And we have one more board member come in, and I want her to introduce herself real quick to let you know she's here.
Hi there, I'm Mandy Bronzell, and I'm the board member for District 3. Thank everybody for coming, and we look forward to some good conversation tonight.
And without further ado, I'll hand it over to JG Consulting.
Good board members. All right. Good evening, everybody. As the trustees have conveyed to everyone and shared with you, my name is James. I am the president and CEO of JG Consulting. Tonight, I am really here to serve as Vanna White. So you'll see me running up and down the aisles here to pass the mic along to you. So if you wish to share your input and feedback, please raise your hand. I will come find you. I'll hand you the mic. I'll keep my distance. And as you conclude your remarks, you can feel free to hand it back to me. I know Mr. Fraley is the master facilitator. What I would ask everyone to do this evening is just to be mindful of our time together. So if you can share the time, 2 to 3 minutes worth of comments per topic and question that we ask of you this evening, that would be great. And then I'll also leave you with this. I understand the school colors are purple. It wasn't planned. I think it was divine intervention this morning when I was getting ready. I live in Austin, Texas, but of course we have boots on the ground all over the state of Texas. So Mr. Fraley, without stealing his thunder, is the retired superintendent of the Katy Independent School District. We have other members of the team in the Region 4 area, and then all across the state of Texas and nationwide. I reside in Austin, Texas, but I am the principal consultant working on behalf of the Board of Trustees. So we work at the will of the board. So again, thank you for having us. Thank you for the hospitality this evening to this wonderful campus. This auditorium is amazing. It's a tremendous facility. Mr. Fraley, Brother Fraley, the floor is all yours, sir.
Thank you, sir. I'm going to keep my distance and stand back here, but I want to be unmasked so I can kind of be more personal with you guys who are in the audience, but also those on the screen joining us as well, who are doing it virtually. As James said, I'm Alton Fraley, a retired, trying to recover superintendent. 16 years of doing that, that's probably enough, but I am a resident now, Lamar Consolidated. I had a very short drive to get here. This is a high school that my neighbors' kids go to. So this is kind of personal, because I know that they'll be very interesting in whatever role I play in hiring the next superintendent. Our job is to cast a wide net, bring in the talent, and present them to the Board of Trustees. And the Board of Trustees will make the decision. It is their role to hire the person. We just do the casting of the nets and the fishing and bringing in the candidates. I can tell you now, I was on the phone with 2 candidates yesterday morning, sitting superintendents. I'd hire either one of them. But that's my personal knowledge. Do they fit the profile for LCISD? That's what's important. And that's why we're here tonight, to get feedback from you guys with a set of questions that we can use to create that leadership profile, to post the job description, and put in our, bait our hook with it, so to speak, all right? So having said that, we'll be laying out some questions. We'll get feedback from the audience in person, and also those online. They'll bring them to me, and I'll try to share them with the audience as well. So question number one to get us started. It's been 20 years since you've been in this situation. That is highly, highly unusual. That is a tremendous blessing, and I'm glad that I'm not applying for the job to follow Dr. Randall. My job is to try to find someone to do that. So, but keeping in mind that you have an outstanding school district. Yes, you have your A rating, but that is what we call a lagging indicator. You had other things that created that A rating, okay? The A rating is not what you're all about. What you're all about earned you the A rating, if that makes any sense. With that in mind, we're gonna ask you to kind of dream a little bit and share with us, what are your hopes and aspirations for LCISD going forward? What are your hopes, aspirations? I know we have a vision statement, we have a mission statement, those kinds of things, but think about the state of affairs you want to see going forward in LCISD. So if you're online, start typing. If you're in the audience, if you want to say something, raise your hand, and we have 2 mics coming around to you, and we love to have a good dialogue this evening. So that's question number one. What are your hopes and aspirations for LCISD? Anybody?
One of the things that I have always enjoyed, loved, and grown to, I guess, treasure about our community is that we are truly a community. And my hope is that we can continue that. We always say that it's the LCISD family, and Dr. Randall will often make jokes about that. And I do want to, I want to see us continue to be that family and have the heart that's in our district and that continue. And so having someone who comes in and understands that tradition of, small town, big growth, and we're all a family and we take care of each other, ultimately taking care of our kids. I would love to see that continue.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Other thoughts from the audience?
Thank you. This is my 3rd year in LCISD as the choir director here at Fulshire High School, and I think we do a fantastic job from the board down supporting the fine arts in this district. I know as we're growing, we're having exceptional growth at Fulshire with the new high school. The new high school eventually was over there replacing us. We need to grow as a fine arts department as well too. We need to keep moving forward. And I'd like to see a superintendent who has experiences with a large school of fine arts. I've taught in San Antonio, I've taught in Austin and Galveston. So I've taught in huge fine arts departments and 1 high school ones. That's a big difference. We're transitioning from a smaller district to a much, much larger district, and we're keep growing. So I think we need to keep expanding the resources at the district level and the campus level for all the students that are entering the fine arts. And the superintendent who's done that before has experience with a large group of fine arts.
Well, I think, first of all, I won't comment on everything, but I think that's an outstanding point to make, because you have so many students. We have to, as to quote a friend of mine, we have to get them into something before they get into something, if that makes any sense. And so the more you have to offer them, not only academics, but also in the fine arts, athletics, the STEAM areas. I say STEAM, not STEM. In the STEAM area there, I think that as you grow, getting students connected and engaged, that's how you keep that family feel. Students who are out will act out. Okay, so that's an excellent point. Other thoughts? Yes, sir.
Right behind you, sir. Thank you.
Awesome.
Okay, my name is Dr. Hattan Albastowisi. I'm new to this area, and my daughter goes to one of the schools here. Of course, I do understand that the district has mission, has objectives, and now we're answering the question about our dreams. Coming from a different school systems, I would dream to see more gender equality learning. I would dream to see more teaching about health and safety and environment. I would dream to see more innovations focused. I mean, we all faced with something we didn't expect, which is COVID. And we all had to deal with the issue. And we all had to deal with technology, which wasn't common at the time, to be able to deliver the learning to our children and our students. This is my dream, but I do have questions, and here today, I hope we can hear some answers. And one of the things is, I do recognize that we all have mission, and the district has mission, and we all recognizes the risk and the potential risk, which we may face in the future, and we actually facing now. But in technical terms, we typically have what we call job success profile for this position. This is a very crucial and critical position to all the community. And I'm happy to hear that this is exactly what we're seeking to develop with the help of the public. It is technical matter, so it's not only the public, but the experts as the consultants definitely is going to help us. But I would love to know what is currently the profile we think will enable whoever hold this position to be successful. In leadership, we look at different components, from the initiation of the task to how motivate people, to how you maintain it. And we look at all those elements, and everyone has a set of traits to do it. So when we look at this leadership, I would love to know, what do we have? I mean, the job description, I know it may not be complete at this moment, including the traits for a successful person. So I want to know how you guys are going to develop the traits in addition to the input coming from the public, and what is the assessment tools you're going to do? Are we going to have some kind of assessment tool to see if this person we're going to select will be able to work in harmony with the other board members or not? Is this person is able to motivate and inspire? Is this person has the commitment toward our children and students learning, and to the stakeholders learning? Those are the elements which we love to hear from you guys to us, to make sure, yeah, we can complement what is missing. But I think this as a technical matter cannot be initiated by the public. It has to be initiated by the district with the support of the consultant, and then we as a public. And of course, I'm talking here today as a father for a young girl which goes to school here, and also I'm a subject matter expert in the field. So I would love to hear the answer to those questions, which can be really a good beginning for discussions. Thank you.
Well, thank you. You went to question number 4. It's where you are. You're question number 4. Okay. But just to kind of respond, which I think is some great input from you, so I really appreciate that. We have to understand the context. We are the hired help for the Board of Trustees. We're their boots on the ground, as James mentioned earlier there. We don't have a Likert scale. What we have is experience of looking at executive level talent. We have a team of folks with us who have experience sitting in the seat of the executive. I have 16 years as superintendent. I've hired superintendents, I've hired principals, I've hired senior staff, I even hired a university president, okay? And so that's what we're gonna use, but it really is incumbent upon the community to talk about their hopes and aspirations and their dreams, their vision. And we're gonna use our experiences in this area. I'm gonna use my background knowledge of the candidates. There are a lot of candidates I'll know about from coast to coast, actually. And we're going to use that and kind of filter that with the desired characteristics that as you see right now, I kind of chime in a little bit and try to kind of add a little color context to some things. And then as we write up the profile, it'll be written in the lexicon that candidates will understand. And we'll have a lot of folks who will apply. And the board will get all those names, but we're going to screen them. We'll also have them do a video interview that the board will get to see each candidate speaking to them directly. It's not just seeing what's on paper, but they'll speak to certain challenges or questions that the board will have. They'll see that in place. And so at the end of the day, we're going to have some candidates who will be very well poised positioned with their experience and background, do a great job for this community. And most certainly, if they're not about kids, they need not apply. If they're not about providing quality learning experiences for children that stretch and challenge and help them exploit their talents, their interests, they need not apply. You have a great school system because of what you've been providing for your students here in Lamar Consolidated. I don't have kids in the system now because mine have all graduated, but I worked next door, literally, for 9 years. I worked 2 doors down for 12 years in Spring Branch. So I know this west side of Houston pretty well. We have some very talented families who have choices when they want to send their kids to school. And we're seeing increasingly they're putting their children in LCISD. You strike me as a person, you do your research as well. You saw something here that made you want to give them a chance. And I think other folks are seeing that as well. So I'm very excited about it, very optimistic. This is an easy sell. This is an easy sell. Our challenge is filtering through, and again, it's not a lack of skill, nothing like that, but it is a filter of experience, a filter of the board knowing this district, a filter of the staff knowing, you have 385 square miles, I believe, correct? Each school is its own community. We have to find someone that can come in and work within that ambiguity with the focus, if that makes any sense. Work the ambiguity with the focus on providing outstanding learning experiences, some that we already have identified, others you talked about just tonight that we'll make, please keep bringing those in. We captured those already, but keep bringing those up as well. So we can expand. Our children are going to come to us with all kinds of interests that we don't even know about right now. But we must provide opportunities for them to connect and fit in, be it gender equity, be it psychological help, be it trauma-informed learning, because all children don't have the homes that we provide for ours, perhaps. So we have a lot of challenges, but I have every confidence that the attractiveness of LCISD, the leadership from the board, the leadership that's been developed over the past 20 years with Dr. Randall, I think we're going to be very well poised to handle anything that comes our way. Okay. Anybody else out here before I get to the chats here? We'll get those. Thank you, ma'am. One says, I think we should strive to incorporate as many AP and IB classes for our students. Incorporate as many AP and IB classes for our students. Now, IB is a little bit different than AP. Okay, you got to commit to that. It's a little bit different. A superintendent that is present on campus is someone who is easily accessible. Look at how LCISD is incorporating libertarian values into its curriculum as well. I think diversity of politics is important. I'd love to have a superintendent hired with experience in a larger district who has a vision of growing and developing Lamar while maintaining the small town family culture. Their heart needs to be focused on what is best for our students. Good stuff. Thank you all so much for that. Okay, that question's on the table. We'll add another question now. Anything you want to add, sir, or? Okay. All right. So, aside from a state championship volleyball team last year, aside from all the other things that you've done in this community, what are you proud of? What's some things you want to celebrate, you want to see more of? And to kind of wet the pump a little bit, again, state volleyball champs, but not only that, you compete in academics, you're getting high ratings in your fine arts performances, You've committed to the fine arts with this auditorium. You have one at every school, I believe. You have practice pools. I guess I should be quiet because I'm doing it for you. But what are your celebrations? Some things you're very proud of.
I'm a mother of a graduate of LCISD and a current student in LCISD, and I'm proud of how we really embrace the whole child and that we really strive for the high academics. We get the A rating, and we really do well with that, but we also do the fine arts. My oldest was heavily into fine arts. My youngest is heavily into sports. But there's a place for all students, whether it be a club, whether it be something like an extracurricular. There's something for every student to get involved in, and the district's committed to that, and they commit just the time, the resources, what it's need to really get all students to feel part of the family, the LCISD family. So I'm really proud of that and hope that continues.
I heard a theme, there's a place for you. LCISD, there's a place for you. I love that, I love that. Other celebrations? We heard some earlier, but okay.
I would just say that I think LCISD and especially Fulshire High School here does a good job hiring good quality teachers that really truly care about their students, and they will fight for what they believe in. And I think that they have chosen really good leaders here at this school.
Well, I can tell you, we've been Zooming across the district with a lot of folks, and you have some outstanding staff in this community. Outstanding school leaders as well. Another comment that came in earlier was one, hope for just a better learning environment for the children. That was one of the comments tied to the last question. Another celebration, our Blue Ribbon Schools, one of the few that still has Blue Ribbon Schools. It's pretty amazing. The fact that we kept the superintendent for over 20 years. Now, I've known Dr. Randall longer than 20 years, and I tell you, being in this state for 35 plus years of working in our school systems, this is truly, truly exceptional. It's truly exceptional. And as I told the cabinet yesterday, the challenge is that he kind of came here when you were a small calf. He picked it up. He's been carrying it while the calf has grown to a full-grown steer. But because he's been holding it, it's no big deal. For the next person, it's a deadlift. Okay, it's a deadlift. He was not the person year 20 that he was year 1. Okay, and because we all grow, we all learn, certainly. I'd like to celebrate teachers who inspire girls in the STEM fields. Okay, very inclusive there. The whole Holsworth Leadership Development Program. You're one of the what I call the OGs in Holsworth, and I think you all may have applied, but you really were sought after. You were sought after because of Dr. Randall's leadership and the team he has. Another comment, how Lamar Consolidated ISD prioritizes fine arts. If you want to perpetuate your culture, it's through your arts. It really is. I'm kind of biased that way. I'm former TMEA District Administrator of the Year, all right, or Distinguished Administrator is what it was, so I'm kind of biased. I can't sing, I can't act, but I just love to go to the performances. All righty. One more back there. Thank you.
I feel the need to echo a lot of what we've heard, and I feel as though it's not just our stellar teachers and extracurriculars and the belonging, but especially here at Fulshire, our kids are able to be involved in multiple things. You know, we have star actors who are star football players. We have students who make it 4 years in fine arts while doing 4 years of foreign language, you know, and we also, we like when we talk about the whole child, it's that we provide these opportunities for students and not barriers for students, you know, whatever their interests go and wherever they lead, they don't run into walls when trying to share the time. And, you know, Mr. Luss and our fine arts team often talk extensively about how they work with the athletics teams and the teachers, and we have a camaraderie around the interests of the kid, you know, and if they feel the need to be involved in 3, 4, 5 different things, we find a way to make work, you know, because ultimately these are our future leaders. These are our future business people. And we all know that the profile of a successful business person is not are good at math. You know, there's a well-rounded, holistic look that we're looking for. And so it's important to us to be able to celebrate that and provide opportunity versus barrier for them to be able to do many of their interests and not just a single.
That's excellent. I like to use this phrase that we're not preparing kids for the future, we prepare them to create the future. But they can't create the future if we don't take care of them today. And that's dealing with the safety issues of physical safety, psychological safety, mental health safety, those types of things, trauma-informed care, that's all important. And we can't just start with opportunities. Reach out and invite. Find those kids who aren't connected, get them connected. I have a son who was extremely shy, and they dragged him to the academic decathlon team. Now we can't shut him up. So not only just opportunities, but invite the kids, make them feel wanted. That's so important, so important. Question 3. First 90 days, first 100 days, where do you want to see this person focus on? What are some challenges they think they need to begin to kind of get their minds around in the first 90 days? What are some challenges that you have in the LCISD that you think this next person needs to bring top of mind? And any comments are not criticisms. Again, it's still tied to hopes and aspirations. But to get there, what challenges must we address effectively? Yes.
I think we've done a pretty extraordinary job in picking up with, what has occurred since March with this virtual learning. I started off teaching math and computer science, and with that, there was only a handful of computer science teachers in the district. As a result, we were doing a lot of distance learning through the TV and things like that. To see what it is today has been a tremendous change, and I think has a lot to do with Dr. Randall's vision to always keep technology up to date. I think what would be amazing is for the next superintendent to look at what we're capable of doing and then look at that and see, could there be a different setup or entity in LCISD that could provide learning at home for students who cannot come to school? Maybe create another school in itself that is virtual. Students who can learn. We have very many talented students who I know of are so talented, they make it big pretty quickly and are not able to attend class regularly, which is amazing. Is there a different setting that we can have some of those students with special circumstances who probably can't come to school 5 days a week, but can put in the work, are self-disciplined, especially at the secondary level, to continue their education and not feel that because they can't physically be in the seat, they don't have the opportunity to learn.
So maximum flexibility and different learning products. I call it products, different learning products and delivery systems. Very important, very important. Okay, please. Hold on, let's get the microphone from here. Here we go.
Thank you. Right. If we will be looking at the short term, our hands is full already. I mean, we have COVID. We need to make sure how, hopefully with the vaccination, things will get better. Mm-hmm. So how we can make up for the student, because I am sure quality of virtual is different than the quality of face-to-face, especially for the young ages. So I'm sure his hand is full, how we can compensate for this year, which, since March, we have one full academic year almost, and now this is the second part or the second part of this academic year also. So we need to make sure how we can compensate for the quality of the learning and the collection of the student to the science and the math and everything. On the long term, the world is changing. Right. We have economic drift everywhere. Yep. and we have to focus on learning foreign languages. So this is an issue which all districts has to start be looking at. There is growing countries, there is ranking change in GDPs across the world, there is needs for minerals different now, things are changing, energy, shapes and changing. We need our students to start more diverse in language learning, in the science side of the issues and on the math side. So maybe, I don't know, I am not a teacher. So, but I think economically, we know that most of the international institutions are changing. And we have to prepare our students and our children for what's going to happen in the next 10 years. And we have to start it now.
Well, I want to celebrate you first of all for being here, because I think you represent a lot of families, a lot of parents who have moved to LCISD. The things you've talked about in terms of how do we, first of all, how do we bridge whatever discrepancies there may be between standards and expectations and matriculation of learning to where some kids may have dropped off. So how do we assess that without just tests, but in Lamar Consolidated, I know we do embrace assessments. We need to know where our students are. If we use assessments to inform instruction, if we use it to inform instruction, that's going to be very, very powerful for us. You have your learning standards. You have your curriculum. You have your power standards. You know what you want children to learn at certain stages of the development. You have a plan for those who have learned it and need more. You have responses for those that aren't quite there yet. And so you have a lot of good things in place. The challenge, I think, is how do we get beyond just the regular standards of learning and really get into more of the creative side of things, more of the, I know you talked about kind of environmental and sustainability, those types of things as well. I guarantee you, we have some students and some staff that have great ideas about that if we let them know that we're receptive to learning about that and practicing it as well. This is a large entity, with the third largest employer in one of the counties at least. You know, so there's a lot of impact we can make on our world just with the folks right here in LCISD. Very important. Another thought from last question was must familiarize themselves with our community. As the district grows, there is a growing economic gap in the students the LCISD serves. The superintendent needs to ensure this economic range does not result in disparities in student performance. All students in the district deserve an excellent education regardless of neighborhood age, regardless of neighborhood, age of the high school to which they're zoned, and economic background. And let the church say amen to that. Certainly. Thank you. I don't need to preach to the choir on this, but just to say that I support the song you're singing about supporting each and every child. Not just meeting them where they are, but helping them develop their own personal vision plan. Helping each child develop a personal vision plan, helping them design an action plan tied to that vision plan, providing supports they need to take that action plan and move it forth and help develop an outlook for their lives. And you know, there's an old saying with architects that forms follows function. Many of our families are a healthy form that provide the function of raising children in a healthy way. All children don't have that to the same degree. So we must have different forms to help with the growth of life for our children. Be it your volunteer programs. As I said at George Ranch last week, you have an emerging, what I call secret sauce in your parents. It's very, very strong and getting even stronger as more and more folks move here as well. So you're gonna have a lot of folks kind of taking kids under their wings. I guarantee you have teachers and coaches that do that, take kids under their wings. And that's what that family does. The family does. All right, we have 3 questions on the table. Question 4, all right. What are some of the characteristics, traits, experiences you think the next superintendent should have or that will give them the best chance of helping move us toward our hopes and aspirations? What are those characteristics, those traits, those experiences you feel the next superintendent should have? Or if they have these things, it'll help them move the district further and further more toward its shared aspirations. Now, we have seen lots of profiles built, and we have not a stock profile, but we have elements of the profile. And so if we see some gaps from the group, we'll offer those to the board, and we'll meet, I guess, next week with the board to really kind of bring that profile to completion. And so we'll get a draft out to them soon, and we have another meeting, town hall tomorrow. I know I have a Zoom tomorrow. I need to call a couple of folks on the phone tomorrow, or at least maybe Friday morning, but we'll get that done. And if we see any gaps between what we see emerging in terms of the demands of public education and from what we've gotten from the public, we'll offer those to the board as well. But from you guys, what do you think? Yes, sir.
I grabbed a few from my library. So I'm not talking about eligibility. You guys the best, you can decide eligibility,
Okay.
experience, education, whatever what you think of eligibility. I'm going to talk about suitability.
Good.
What's the suitability to make the person most probable he's going to succeed in his role? So few of them, his initiation and persistence, how he can identify problem cause, sense of urgency, and takes calculated risks. It's very important how to take calculated risks. How he can inspire and motivate others. This is another he's working across the district. He is a leader. He must have those traits. How he can build capacity through accountability and support. How he can commit to our student learning and stakeholders through his belief in the potential of every student and leverage existing capabilities. How he can crystallize problems and create solutions. Those are elements. And my feeling is you will get a lot of candidates, but you must have a way to screen them neutrally. And you must be able to do that without, buckling under many candidates, and you have to make a decision now, and you have to do it this way. So you have to have some kind of assessment tool to help you out to shortlist and identify the gaps in his background against the profile which you think is successful. And then whoever is going to, be selected definitely is not going to be 100% matching your profile. So you have to, complement his background with the development, debriefing, coaching for this individual. And this has to be done through a talent group existing within the district. So it's not only be the superintendent, but it has to be carried through superintendent and his supporting staff and his supporting colleagues across the district. His ability to work with the board is one of the most important items.
Yes.
And this harmony, it has to be measured. And this is just my advice about those issues. Thank you.
Well, I wanted to say, that the first things you shared most certainly are what I call next level leadership capacities. That's next level. The standard stuff is not going to work, LCISD. So you talk about next level stuff. You talk about some of Jim Collins' level 5 leader as well, those types of things. You're talking about, the spiritual leader also. There's spirituality leadership also. The part about with the board of trustees, I can't tell you how important that is. I can't stress it enough. We have met with each board member individually, and unless they're fooling us, unless they don't mean what they said, I am extremely optimistic. I am extremely optimistic. And this is not based on just a real good feel good. This is based on having been in the trenches. I also do school board training, okay? And so the elements that I've seen in terms of what they shared and just how it felt in the room, I'm very optimistic. We're not going to find anybody that may have all those elements as evident, and everyone won't even recognize those elements sometimes, because many of us have not elevated our expectations beyond our immediate transaction. We must get beyond our immediate transaction. You can't ask for a visionary leader and you muddle their time with what happened today at school, okay? You can't do that. You got to have customer service for that, but it can't always be the superintendent, the first person you call and ask them to get on those. It can't even be the principal, that's the first person you call. You have to have levels of support along the way, because if you don't keep your eye, if you don't let the right folks keep their eye on the vision, you can find yourself going off different paths and tracks, and you're going to wonder what happened. You can't take up all the time and then wonder where the time went. Bottom line. Other thoughts, other characteristics, traits, experiences. We'll talk about, the qualifying things, such as they have the educational documentation, pedigree. They have that. They will have had some type of administrative leadership experience. We'll look at different sizes of districts, but you'll be surprised as you can find in some small places too. And so we'll look at the person and their potential, and not only that, just the overall intestinal strength. I think integrity is important. Being able to identify what the big things are. What are those enabling things? You can do a lot of stuff. What are those enabling things, and what leaders identify those things and can galvanize the team around pursuing those? So, thank you. The next superintendent needs to have multiple years of experience leading in a district growing at the rate of LCISD. That may be a challenge, because you are fast growth, but we'll get as close as we can. This person's been here for 10 years, and 2 high schools have been added in that time with more planned. We need someone experienced with successful growth. I agree with that. For someone who can look, listen, and learn from the current LCISD community, staff, and students while making decisions in the best interest of the school district. We talked last week about you don't remove a fence post till you know why it's there. So don't come here wanting to just uproot everything. Take your time, check it out, see what's working, see what's not working, but mainly you tie it to your aspirations. If you don't create a context for it, you can't really evaluate it. It's more about attitude then. So what are we trying to create? What are we trying to sustain? And that's where the board comes in. That's where the board comes in. Now, you've been blessed for 20 years. You might get lucky again, but just in case you don't, know what you're all about. And then if you need to hire someone else after 5, 6 years or so, you're not doing a total about face, okay? You have to have a big vision. Yeah, you have your first 90 days, but 10 years from now, where do you want to be? 10 years from now, where do you want to be? That's important. Other thoughts, other characteristics, other traits, experiences. Thank you, please.
I would love for the next superintendent to be someone where you can see their heart. We need someone who is passionate for people. And I know that's part of our leadership definition, but it's because we live it. We need to be able to see that person is here 100% for the people of LCISD and our children, and our teachers are here for that reason, and we love them for that. And so if we have a leader that you can see their heart, and we know that the decisions and can trust that the decisions that they're making are coming from a place of love and passion for education, I think that's important. Being a fast growth district, we're also going to be like a quickly changing budgetary, no one said fiscally responsible yet, but when you grow so fast, your numbers change fast, your money changes fast, COVID changes things. Like there's so many things that are going on that we need someone with experience that we can trust that the money is going to be taken care of responsibly and that they're coming from the right place when they make those decisions.
How many of you have experience in running a $500 million budget? Not many have experience, but we all have an attitude about it though. And you're right, you need someone who is fiscally responsible, but we must understand just what that means. It's not just being a tightwad. It's investing wisely in pursuit of your aspirations. Yes, we all pay taxes. We all pay taxes. No one pays enough taxes to run the whole district though. Your money goes into a big pot with a lot of other folks like you, their own ideas, attitudes, and hopes and aspirations as well. And so we can't pursue everyone's individual dream. We have to create a shared aspirational dream, but also capacity for those other individual aspirations as well. As an organization, we must have capacity for everything, but understand you really can't be all things to everybody, but you have quick capacity so they can kind of chart their own course as well. Other characteristics of the traits. This has been 2 good town halls, I think. I think we've gotten some very good feedback. I want to thank the team. You know, I call them the roadies because they were with me at George Mason. They're here tonight. We'll be at Terry tomorrow. And I want to thank Miss Lindsay here. We go way back, and she's doing the typing and whatever. So it's just kind of cool. It's kind of cool. Anything else, sir?
No, I think you did very well. Thank you, sir. So you can see why he's a member of the team. This is Michael Jordan. So I'm blessed to have such a strong brain trust of seasoned practitioners, because Mr. Fraley can work anywhere he chooses, but I think I might have pestered him enough just so he stopped telling me no. He finally told me yes. But thank you for all that you do. I want to acknowledge the Board of Trustees again. For those of you that aren't aware, it's Board Recognition Month. So if you happen to see your trustees out at the coffee shop, the grocery store, the gas station, wherever, please acknowledge the hard work, because oftentimes it's a very thankless job because they do so much work behind the scenes. To Dr. Rockwood's amazing team, all of the staff, just a big shout out to them. They're making the engine run. This is a tremendous district. I've owned the search firm for 7 years. I've worked in some of the largest, most complex school systems, East Coast to West Coast. And I can tell you by far, the bar is set really high here in Lamar Consolidated. So it's not going to be a matter of the depth and the quality of talent. It's going to be, how do we dwindle that down to align to all those things we're talking about? So the leadership profile that we discussed is what we're developing now with your voices. We're incorporating everything that you've shared with us this evening, and we'll align those hopes and aspirations and embed that into the primary bullets of the job description and leadership profile. And we work at the will of the board. We don't represent the candidates. We represent you and the Board of Trustees. We're not recycling candidates from one district that we might have worked for in the past to here. It's not a matter of that. In fact, we guarantee that we will never recruit your superintendent away from Lamar Consolidated down the road. We're very busy right now in the greater Houston area. You may see articles where we're actively recruiting other folks, but just know our team, Mr. Fraley, myself, Dr. Linares, who is in Fort Worth, and then our back office support, we're working very hard on your behalf. So just know that our attention, our focus is intentional, and we have your best intentions in mind as well. It's our reputation at stake too. We've never, ever once, and knock on wood, have ever failed a superintendent search in the history of our business. In fact, all of the superintendents we've placed are still serving in their respective roles today. And as the CEO of the firm, that's something that I'm most proud of, because, you know, I've got a tremendous team, and I trust them with everything that we do, and I'm working them really hard. He said recovering superintendent earlier, and I'm partly to blame for that, because we have a number of activities where we're constantly busy, sun up to sundown, doing things like this, Zoom meetings that Mr. Fraley has held with LCISD staff, other constituents. You know, a few of us are traveling right now during COVID. We're being safe, and we want to protect the well-being of you as well. So I want to say thank you for those of you who have joined us in person this evening. For those of you that are joining us virtually, also thank you. We greatly appreciate your input. Thank you for helping us monitor the chat. We're readily available to you. I can provide you with my personal cell if you have follow-up feedback, if you'd like that. It's also accessible on our website. But if you wish to speak with me directly offline, my number is 214-934-5672. 5537. If I happen to be unavailable, I'll connect you with a member of the team. But again, my name is James. We look forward to representing you. You'll see us as boots on the ground over the course of the next few months. If you happen to see us, please don't hesitate to say stop us and say hello. And again, we just look forward to working with you. This is a great place. If I wasn't so connected to my hometown, Austin, I might be inspired to move here. I like it so much. So thank you for all that you do. Thank you for being here, and I hope everyone has a terrific and pleasant evening. Thank you.